move, Grandpa.
I'm back in the saddle again. I'm back in the saddle.
Hi, and welcome to Flick Check. I'm your host, Andrew Woltman, and we are back. If I ever had to see a band live, like, I'm not really a concert guy, I would want to see Aerosmith. Isn't Steven Tyler injured or something? I really don't know. He just seems like one of those guys, there's always something, but you're never really sure what it is. Anyway, also here tonight is our friend Mr. Paul Namtlow. You may remember he is formerly known as Discount Paul Schaefer, but decided to go a name change out of respect for the retirement of the real Paul Schaefer. Thank you. Good to be back. Good to be back. Where's the other guy, though? Is he going to be with us tonight? I'm glad you asked, Paul. No, Johnny Sizzles will not be joining us tonight. He's actually doing real producing work. I mean, I thought he just sat in the corner and criticized everything. Turns out he actually has a job here. Which I want to bring up. As you know, the Fantastic Four movie is coming out, and it's either going to be pretty good, or terrible. So, there's a special way we want to do this. We're going to bring back all the people that have appeared in studio with us to review this as a Fantastic Four of critics. That includes my good friends, Mr. Sean Haber, Miss Anika Krempl, and Mr. Dan Cahill. I was on the show with Sean. I joined before that, and I saw the one with Anika, but I don't think I know Dan. Is he a good guy? Do you get along well? Well, because I am the captain now.
No.
Yes.
No. Oh my god! There it goes again! Oh my god, there's gunfire in the streets! There's explosions all over the place!
Captain, you think I'll go down easy? You've got another thing coming.
It's happening! It is happening, El Jefe! I'm telling you right now, it's happening right now!
From my cold, dead hands.
The battle lines have been drawn! We are at war! The captain's corner is at war with Flick Check with Andrew Woltman!
Let's just say we're both passionate about what we do. Well, you get along with Sean and Anika, right? Oh no, there's no rivalry there. Sean and Anika, they're both very friendly, they know what they're doing, and we get along great. Plus, they're both pretty funny.
Love is in the air. Robin Williams has recently announced his engagement to Nicolas Cage.
That's not true.
And in other news, Marvel has announced that they will be producing The Avengers Take Two, in which all women will be played by women, and all men will also be played by women.
That's also not true.
And thirdly, Andrew's cat Shelley is adorable.
That one is true, but it was just awful. I'm gonna have to give it a check minus.
Oh, that's bad.
Alright, anything you want to add?
By the way, if you do go see this, Pizza Hut does not look that good.
I've never heard of a 99... Are there even 99 different cheeses?
If maybe, possibly.
Let me put it this way.
You can't fit them all on one little...
Let me put it this way. Do you think Pizza Hut would ever use 99 different real cheeses?
I don't think they even use one real cheese.
Well, anyway, we're going to keep it brief tonight. We're just going to focus on the one review. There is one piece of information or footage that came out recently I do want to comment on. I think we all know what it is.
I'm just gonna hurt you. Really, really bad.
People have been constantly asking me if I think Jared Leto will be better than Heath Ledger. That's just not the right question to be asking. There have been several different Jokers throughout time. There's been the gangster Joker by Jack Nicholson. There's been the goofy Joker from Cesar Romero. There's been the anarchist Joker from Christopher Nolan movies, played very famously by Heath Ledger. what worked for Heath Ledger's Joker was that the universe called for someone that calmly anarchic. Like, to introduce anarchy in a way that didn't require you being a sibling, insane maniac. Now, in this world of the Man of Steel, Suicide Squad, Batman versus Superman, it calls for something more true to the comics. Not saying that Ledger wasn't. He was just more geared towards a reality-grounded base that the Christopher Nolan movies required. So, I think the real answer is Jared Leto will be great in a different way than Heath Ledger was. There's not going to be better, there's going to be different. So you have to keep that in mind. There's different universes in comic books all the time. You see different versions of different characters. This is just another version. And comparing them one against the other as better or worse, that's not really a fair assumption because they're just two different people. I'm just excited to see a movie where Will Smith or his son doesn't have to be the center of attention. Hi-yo! Alright, let's get to the main event. Ant-Man. Ant-Man, basically, they've been trying to make this movie since 2004. I swear, someday they'll make a movie about the making of this movie. Maybe not even a documentary about it. I mean, an actual movie. Edgar Wright started in 2004 trying to make this movie. He went through so many different drafts. They eventually came up with the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe. This was back in the days when Tobey Maguire was Spider-Man that they started working on this movie. That's how long they've been trying to get this right. And now here we are, at least 11 years later, and we finally have it. Obviously, Edgar Wright didn't actually direct it, which is very sad to me. I'm a huge fan of the Cornetto trilogy. I love Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. I would have loved to see what he would have done with this movie. Probably would have got Simon Pegg as Ant-Man. Nice. Probably Nick Frost in there too somewhere. Anyway, given all this, there's certainly been a lot of pressure on Peyton Reed. Kind of like the one that was on Conan O'Brien when he took over for David Letterman. Big shoes to fill. Did he succeed? I'll say yes in the fact that he got the movie out there. You know what? Good for you. You actually made the movie after all this time. That's not enough to give it, like, a passing grade on its own, so let's look at the movie a little closer. It succeeds in that it tells the Ant-Man story in a way that I enjoy as a fan of the comics. It brings in Hank Pym and Scott Lang, two Ant-Men. It's very comparable to the Zorro movie, where passing of the mantle, but in a way that we haven't really seen too much, I guess. It's enjoyable. I enjoy the back and forth between Michael Douglas and Paul Rudd. They have great chemistry, and they do a pretty good job with Michael Douglas. In the Tron Legacy, let's age him down a bit kind of way. Paul Rudd, he certainly does kind of feel like, let's try to do what we did with Chris Pratt and take a funny, charming guy and make him a superstar. Kind of works. He plays a criminal, not a full-on criminal. You kind of feel for him. You kind of feel like he was justified in what he did. That kind of gets you on his side. I don't think that's enough to automatically give him a great performance. He certainly sells us on his emotion as a character, on his devotion to his daughter, on why he's trying to do what he's doing. All this being said, I don't think Ant-Man was a really original movie. It just didn't really have that originality to it. I mean, we've seen the origin story like this before. Not exactly like this, because, you know, man meets old man gets trained by old man becomes hero, blah, 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 blah. There's certain things about the film that do make it stand out, and in a pretty cool way, but obviously not things I can talk about in here, and at least not for several months. I'm not going to spoil this movie for you. I do encourage you to see this movie. You will have a good time. It's just, there's nothing that will really make you say, wow, that was impressive. The special effects are pretty cool. Like I said, Paul Rudd is great in the role. Michael Douglas is great in his role. Also, Michael Pena, he was fantastic too. He brings enough comic relief that it doesn't really seem overboard, but also makes a really compelling supporting character that you can get behind. My main criticism with this movie, the villain, Corey Stoll. I mean, he just does not adapt to the Marvel Universe at all. It really just feels like, oh hey, I'm on House of Cards, I'm gonna play the evil businessman. No, you can't just take your House of Cards reputation and slap it into a Marvel movie. Marvel really does have forgetful villains. This one, I would call the second worst after, you know what, I'm not even gonna bother, because I don't remember his name. It's a good movie. It's just not a great movie. You'll enjoy Ant-Man, but it's not something you'll be clamoring to go see a second time. By all means, if you want to keep track of the Marvel Universe and what they're doing to set up Civil War and Infinity War, I absolutely recommend you see this. If you are just watching Marvel for the first time, this isn't really a good intro movie, because it won't make you want to see more. It'll make you want to see something else. If you're just coming into Marvel, start with Iron Man. Don't jump on the Ant-Man bandwagon. I'll give Ant-Man a check. Like I said, there's nothing really wrong with it. There's just nothing really great about it. So, what's the next movie you're reviewing? Well, how soon are we gonna be back? Okay, what's the next movie coming out? Pixels. Nah, I'll probably see Pixels, but I don't anticipate anything above maybe a 30 on the tomato meter. So, what's after that? Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. Alright. I'm a Tom Cruise fan. Yes, so we'll be back for our Mission Impossible Rogue Nation review in about 2 weeks. Where can they find us online, Paul? Well, you know, they can find us on Facebook, Flick Check with Andrew Woltman, or on Twitter, @Andrew's Flick Check. I'm Paul Nantlo. Alright, and I'm Andrew Woltman. Remember, if you're not sure about a flick, let me give it a check. Have a good night.